This will be the animated remaster version of my first finished series. What if Goku was raised by Frieza? If you vibe with the story, hit the like button, comment your thoughts on the animation, and subscribe for more. And all channel memberships help increase the quality of the content. Now let's get into it. Shout out to the members, Quadehmach, OD Demon Wolf, John Lang 2016, and Jason 57835. You guys help me create better content for my future videos and are greatly appreciated. In this story, Goku's Saiyan pod is intercepted by Frieza's main ship, and Frieza isn't too happy with another Saiyan surviving, and whenever he reads that Kakarot has a power level of 5, he thinks to himself that this monkey is useless. He then channels some energy into a single fingertip, preparing to put a beam through the low-class son of Bardock, because he doesn't see much benefit in keeping such a weakling around for his army. But then suddenly the Frost Demon Emperor has a change of heart because he realizes that he is a toddler, which means he can use Kakarot as his most loyal Saiyan soldier through early indoctrination. That is, if he manages to survive amongst his Frieza Force ranks, of course. Frieza was calculated with Kakarot's upbringing and made sure to keep Kakarot separate from his remaining kindred. And this was even easier to accomplish because Nappa, Raditz, and Vegeta looked at him like a weakling anyways. So as this version of Goku grew into a boy, he was completely isolated from his Saiyan race. This alternate version of Goku grew up with a chip on his shoulder and something to prove because he was well aware of his mediocre power level and was often mocked by other Frieza Force members because of this fact, so he was always training for self-improvement. And once he got strong enough, he began practicing harsh combat with the Cybermen explosive plant species, which advanced his Zenkai boosts rapidly. By the time Goku was around the age of 10, he was increasing his rank, already stronger than his brother Raditz. And not only that, Kakarot was beginning to socialize with Frieza Force members like Zarbon and Dodoria, and he had no intention of slowing down in leveling up. And this progression did not go unnoticed by a teenage Vegeta, who saw Kakarot as a low-class pet to Frieza, who was nothing compared to the Prince of all Saiyans. And the Prince was about to put Goku in his place beneath his boots, or maybe in the ground. And then, on one faithful day, Vegeta challenged Goku to a fight by pointing him out directly by name, and Goku wasn't going to back down from the challenge. After all, he had always known the last of his kind did not care for him, so he was waiting for a chance to battle their leader. A battle ensues, and the fight was fierce, even though the prince clearly had the advantage, but Goku didn't care about their difference in power, and gave it all he had, and even managed to bust the lip of Vegeta with a well-placed right hook. And this act angered Vegeta, and he began to pummel Kakarot relentlessly into the floor, and while Goku struggled to pick himself back up from the damage, Vegeta's hand began to charge a ki blast that would be fatal to his low-class opponent. But before he could finalize his attack, the voice of Frieza halted his actions, telling him that the fight was over, while telling Vegeta that he couldn't have the Prince of all Saiyans killing off his rising young soldier out of jealousy. Then his tone mocked him further by saying, honestly, it's sad to see a so-called super elite envy the lower classes, and Vegeta was forced to swallow his prideful retort. In his last look of hostility, he told Goku that he should thank his master for saving his pets. In truth, Frieza had anticipated this conflict to happen, and he knew Kakarot increasing in ranks would upset his Saiyan-estranged family, and counted on Vegeta to challenge Goku so he could then after save Kakarot and instill within him an even more resentment for the remnants of his kind so he could potentially one day dispose of his species for the tyrant at a later date. Kakarot's brutality increased as he grew, and he learned to be merciless with his violence from tagging along with Dodoria to conquer worlds, and his armor was often stained with the blood of other species. And when he was strong enough, Goku trained with Zarbon, and it was during that time he learned about his transformation, and this discovery would unlock something within the Saiyan to utilize for another time. By the time Goku grew into a young man, he was violent, cold, and infamous for his cruelty. He also mostly went alone on all his missions, but there was one person he was loyal to, his Lord Frieza. Because after the day he saved him, he felt like he was valuable to the Frost Demon, and he even began to dress like Frieza, and took on more missions than anyone else, making him only below the Ginyu Force in Frieza's circle at the age of a young adult. However, Kakarot did keep one thing Canon Goku was known for. If he fought a powerful opponent, he let them live because he wanted to fight them again someday. and he was obsessed with always becoming stronger, and Frieza actually didn't mind, because his loyalty was absolute, it seemed. Goku even copied the signature abilities of Frieza that he witnessed among his presence, like his death beam and his Saiyan armor was modeled after the tyrant's bio armor as well, and even his aura darkened over time from blue to a purple-violet. And by the time he was 17, his transformation into a top Frieza enforcer was complete, and no mission was off-limits for Kakarot, no matter how hazardous a planet's conditions were or how advanced a society was. He was ready for war. Yet in between his assignments, he would socialize with Zarbon and Dodoria often. By now, he was marginally weaker than Zarbon's base form, and even though their conversations were often brief, he respected the two of them to a degree because they were capable in their own rights, but he still took all of his missions solo. That is, until one day. Frieza summoned Goku to his throne room and told Goku he had a special mission for him, and this time he would have company. He was to purge another planet with his Saiyan colleagues, but afterwards he was tasked with killing the 3 Saiyans on that planet, for they had outlived their usefulness. And Goku was excited to finally get the opportunity to end the lives of his own kind, who looked down on him like he was less than and only saw him as a low-class pet for the galactic dictator. So as he walked towards the space pods, he laughed maniacally with a twisted joy, because today would be the day. He got his revenge.